All right, so we will be continuing our class. This is the chapter 3 of segregated funds textbook, and we are moving on to annuities. Now, you could, if you can recollect that in chapter 1, we have understanding of both segregated funds and annuities going through chapter 1. And in chapter 2, we noticed that the focus was on segregated funds and all the features of segregated funds. And now in chapter 3, we will be looking at the annuities. Okay, so we've already known what annuities stands for because we've talked about it in chapter 1, but now we're going to dig deeper into annuities. Okay, and I'm not sure if my mic is close enough. Let me just make some adjustments here to bring it closer because I don't want to complete uh, doing everything and realize that the audio is not. Okay, I think it's close enough now. Awesome. Yes, so we're moving on to annuities in details now. So yes, as we already know, annuity stands for investment product that takes the form of contract, which specifies terms of payment. It could be immediate annuities or it could be deferred annuities. Immediate annuities is when the payment commences immediately, and deferred annuity is situations whereby the annuity payments is deferred in the future. All right. Um, the companies, annuities is only issued by life insurance companies, banks, form of annuities, banks and other financial institutions may only issue one form of annuity known as term annuity and term setting annuities. But when it comes to life annuities, that is only available through the insurance company. Okay. The annuities are usually structured to pay regular income to the person named as the annuitant. All right. The annuitant of the contract is the one that receives the payment. All right. The income from the annuities. Let's see if um, the contract holder and the annuitant, do they have to be the same? Let's find out. The factors that influences such how much the annuity pays to the annuitants are quoted annuity rates and guarantees on the annuity payment, if any. All right. So that's what determines how much is being received as annuity payment. Basically, the rates. Okay. Let's see. I've talked about the fact that annuity can be a deferred annuity or it can be immediate annuities. I've talked about that one. Um, the contract owner, okay, the contract owner chooses a schedule of payment, which is also called annuity benefits, and the duration of payments. Yes, so the contract owner tells the insurance company how often they want to be receiving payments. Payments can be received either on a monthly basis or on a biannual basis, or um, depends on how it is being structured in the contract. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Once annuity payment begins, then they generally cannot be stopped before the end of the payment. All right. So once the annuity payment begins, it has to run its course through the end. All right. Um, yeah, accumulation of annuities provide investment securities, and in addition, yeah. So again, there's some of this information here that I'm not going to start going into it details one by one because I know that question doesn't come like that, but into specifics like that. And also, we still have a lot that needed to be covered today, so I'm going to run through this very fast. Okay. um Straightforward investment concept. Okay, so these are features of annuities. Okay, annuity is very straightforward. Okay, you bring, let's say you're investing 10,000 and your rate of return is 5%. Okay, so it's pretty much straightforward. So it's 5% on your investment, calculated depending on annually or biannually, depends on the periodic payment period that is being calculated is very straightforward. Income security, yes, annuity provide security for incomes, and then the security of knowing when you are expecting that income is provides lots of peace of mind for a lot of people, right? Because you don't have to worry what is coming or unexpected movement in the market and how that can affect your investment. No, annuity provide that straightforward and security of your investment. All right. Okay. Moving on. Um, Also, there's annuity. I form that we have annuity that provide a lifetime income. All right. When annuity payments are paid for lifetime on the annuitant, then the annuity has been issued on a single life straightforward. Um, Okay. Yeah. So now, annuity can be issued on one life or it can be issued on a joint life. A joint life annuity can function like a pension to provide retirement income, and when payments are provided with a lifetime guarantee. So the annuity and their spouse, if and is a joint annuity, are eligible to receive the payment, and they don't have to worry about outworking or outliving their money, even if they live for a very long time. You see, the benefits of annuity is the fact that it provides income for a lifetime. So if it's a lifetime annuity, for example, one can convert your RIF, into a lifetime annuity that can keep paying you specific amount, for life. Or annuity also can be on a single life. It can also be on a joint life as well. Okay. Annuity can also provide spousal income opportunity. For example, an annuity can be used to provide income for a spouse using a single life annuity in which a spouse is named as an annuitant. Joint annuity is the one that both spouses may receive annuity income, and after the death of the first spouse, the surviving spouse continue to receive the annuity payment. Okay, so again, annuity can be used to provide income for one spouse. Okay, especially for in a case of joint annuity, at the death of one spouse doesn't terminate or end uh, the payment of the annuity. So the surviving spouse will continue to receive the annuity payment until he or she passes away. Okay, that way we can use annuity to create income for our spouses. All right, our temporary income. Again, just like temporary insurance, annuity can be used to provide temporary income, for a certain period of time. And I talked about this in chapter one. For instance, if you need an income bridge for a specific period of time, then you can use annuity to bridge that gap. Example, like for example, if retirement age is 65, let's say you take early retirement and you retire at 50, or your company said, okay, you didn't do anything, but like, we want to lay some people off, and you were laid off at 55, for instance, and they paid you some severance. Okay, instead of keeping this money, you can take that money they paid you for severance, but because at 55 you can't start accessing your RRSP yet. Okay, you you be eligible to access your RRSP, I think, from age, is it 65 or 61? We're gonna see that as we continue in this class. Okay, but you can take that severance that you were paid and take um a term annuity for 10 years. So if you take your severance, you pay 10 annuities. So it means that you'll be receiving a steady income, for the next 10 years before your retirement age at 55. So that's one of the ways that we can use annuity to create a temporary income. Okay, just like segregated funds, annuity is creditor protected. Okay, I'm not going to start going into details about that because I explained creditor protection features for segregated funds in chapter 2. Now, also estate planning benefits. Annuity offer a valuable estate planning features through the ability to name a beneficiary to the contract. Okay, when an annuity payments are made to a beneficiary, those payments bypass the estate and are thus not subject to probate fees. Okay, insured life annuity. Again, an insured annuity is the name given to a strategy that uses combination of two separate insurance products, a permanent life insurance policy and a straight life annuity. Its purpose is to protect estate capital. So the insured annuity process is a, a proposed policy owned a proposed policy owner identifies the sum of money needed on death to settle their estate. They acquire permanent life insurance such as term 100 or whole life insurance and with a death benefit that is equal to the sum required to settle their estate. If the proposed policy owner does not qualify for life insurance, then the insured annuity can be implemented and the process must be stopped at this point. Hmm. After the insurance policy is issued, the life insured buys a life annuity with a deposit that is sufficient to ensure that the annuity payments will, at a minimum, cover the life insurance premium. Aha, as they come due. Upon the death of the life insured, who is also the annuitant, the life annuity contract payment ends and the life insurance death benefit is paid to the beneficiary. Wow. Did you get that? This is genius. Okay. Insured life annuity. So you take annuity, right? Take life insurance. And then the annuity payment funds the insurance premium. Wow. So the annuity payments funds the insurance premium. So that when the person passes away, the death benefit is paid to be used to settle the estates, whatever. Wonderful. Let's look at this example together. Stephen, age 60, wants to leave his two nieces a legacy of 250,000 each upon his death. He puts aside 500,000 now. He no longer can spend that money. Instead of Stephen purchasing a term 100 life insurance policy with a 500,000, the beneficiary of the policy. Premiums for the policy is 1,000 per month. Stephen then acquired a single life annuity using 200,000 of his savings. He receives about 1,000 per month in an annuity payment. He uses the money to pay his life insurance premium. He has effectively bought an inheritance of 500,000 for the sum of 200,000. He still has access to 300,000 of his savings to use for other purposes such as retirement. Wow. Annuitant protection, Azuri coverage. Well, if an insurer that has issued annuity is no longer able to meet um their payments or commitments, then the policies are then transferred to other insurer that is willing and able to assume the payment. Okay, we saw that in chapter 2. All right. Now with annuity, an annuitant receive Azuri protection on the payout annuity on the payment in full when it's up to 2,000 per month. For example, if your annuity payment is up to 2,000 per month, then you will continue to receive your 2,000 every month. But if it's more than 2,000 per month, look at here's what happened. Okay, when benefits pay for a payout annuity is more than 2,000 per month, then the annuitant receive Azuri protection for the greater of 2,000 per month or 85% of the promised benefits. For example, if the promised benefit is 5,000 per month, then the annuitant receive 85% of $5,000. Okay. And remember, for segregated funds, is to the maximum of 60,000 or 85% of the guaranteed amount. And for annuity is 2,000 per month or 85% of the monthly guarantee. Okay, awesome. Okay, so excuse me. We're moving on to types of annuities. There are many factors, okay, that addresses or why selecting annuities. There is purpose of the annuities. That's the reason for annuities because somebody whose need is term annuity, that person have no need to go invest in life annuity. So it depends on your purpose, your need for your annuity will determine what annuity options you go for. And also there's uh payout annuities. Okay, payout annuities is the one that the purpose of the annuity is to be receiving a steady streams of income. All right, so for someone like in the example that I gave, someone that receives early retirement and the person don't want to, wants the security of knowing that, okay, every month specific amount is coming in. Yes, that individual can look at payout annuities that brings a steady streams of income. Okay. Moving on to accumulation annuities. Again, accumulation annuity is a form of annuity, that provides savings with a built-in maturity date. Okay. Accumulation annuity do not provide, a streams of income. Instead, the purpose is to invest and grow till a specific time and then accumulate, just like the name is to accumulate that fund for a specific purpose at a later date, whereby you can take it to do other things. The accumulation annuity credits interest of deposit on a daily basis or monthly basis or compound basis. Daily interest is not guaranteed sum. In certain cases, interest may be guaranteed over a number of years. Okay. Also, another features of annuities is the life covered. I see that somebody entered. Okay. In terms of the life covered, once a fundamental purpose of the annuity contract is identified, then the number of life to be covered is another thing that needs to be established. Like we have seen that there is a single life annuity and there is joint life annuity. So the single life annuity is the one that have a single life contract. So a contract may be issued for a person, naming him or another person as the annuitant. Okay. Um, if a person uses funds in his Rrsp or RIP to buy annuity, he has to be named the annuitant. Okay. We've seen this before. Then we also have Okay, for a single life, the annuitant receives the income from the annuity contract for a specific period or for life, depending on whether the annuity is a term-setting annuity or is a life payout annuity. All right. We also have, I need to check. I think I have. Okay. Hello, Sam. Can you hear me? Hello, Sam. Sam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
So how are you?
Good, 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 good.
Okay.
Sorry,
So
I'm
I'm
late.
going
I
to
was
keep.
talking with Ojo today.
Oh, how is it?
Yeah. It's fine.
Okay.
Mm,
Yeah, so let
yeah.
me continue. I'm recording. When I'm done, then we'll talk, okay?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, I'm moving really fast because I'm hoping I could finish or get a lot done tonight. All right, so we move on to joint life contract. A joint life contract, also known as a joint and last survivor annuity, pays income over the life of two people, usually spouses. Okay. The two individual names in the annuities are known as co-annuitants. All right. Payments continue. Okay, payments may be issued on both annuitant or one annuitant. And when the first annuitant does, payments continue on the co-annuitant, typically the surviving spouse. All right. Okay, so moving on, the other features of annuity is the duration of the annuity. Annuity can be issued as a term annuity or a lifetime annuity. Okay, we've talked about term annuities. Typically, term annuities usually is up to age 90. So you can't get a term annuity beyond age 90. All right, a single life or two lives, we've talked about that. Um, for an annuity may be structured to pay income over the life of one person or two. We've talked about that one. Mm, this is okay. All right, so we move on to, in the case of a shortened life, see, an impaired annuity is a form of life annuity, okay? An impaired annuity is issued when an annuitant has a shortened life expectancy due to poor health, okay? And because of the serious disease or deterioration condition, an impaired annuity can be bought for a single life. Annuity for a single life annuitant for a single life annuitant or joint life annuitant. And when both spouses suffered from medical conditions that led to a shortened life expectancy. Impaired life annuities are also called enhanced aged rated or accelerated. And anyways, I've not seen questions with this one. Finding an annuity, okay? A policy owner may funding annuity. A policy owner may fund annuity or pay for an annuity in a lump sum or as a transfer lump sum payment may be made, you see, from another account to the annuity account, okay? An immediate annuity must be funded with a lump sum so that capital is immediately available and then the annuitant can start receiving payment. However, a deferred annuity can be funded with a lump sum amount or be funded on a specified period of time until um, the annuitant payment kicks in. However, for a deferred annuity that is going to be funded over a period of time, the funding of that annuity account have to be completed before the first payment begins. Okay. We've talked about, you can also transfer, we talked about lump sum deposit and transferring funds from a registered account such as Rsp or RIV continues the tax deferral on the account that is transferred to a registered annuity contract. Therefore, there is no immediate tax consequences for the transfer. When registered savings are the source of funding, of the annuity, then the policy owner and the annuitant must be the same. Just like what we saw in I think in chapter one or something like that. When you are transferring from your registered account into annuity, then the policy owner have to be the same with the annuitant, who is the person designated to receive the payment. All right. So regular deposit, again, like I said before, we can use regular deposit for deferred annuity. Okay. Deposit or premiums made on a regular ongoing basis can be used to fund annuity. However, annuity payments cannot begin for any type of annuity until after the last deposit has been received. I talked about that one. All right. So talking about annuity income. Okay, annuity income. Well, the contract owner of the payout annuity must choose one of the following applications. So when the annuity income payment begins immediately, then the accounts have to be funded immediately, whether the payment will be a level amount or variable. Okay, so now if for income annuity, um, the contract owner have to specify, is it going to be a level amount or variable? Level amount is one that a specific amount is received on a monthly basis, so you know what you'll be getting. But variable amount is the one that tracks the market rate. So it's not specific, it's nothing is guaranteed. So it depends on the rate that you are going to get. Okay, it could be high, it could be low, depending. All right. Oh, excuse me. We've talked about immediate income. Payments can be begin immediately when a lump sum is deposited into the annuity and the annuitant receive the first payment at the next payment date. That's immediate income. Deferred income is the one that payment doesn't start until in the future. Okay. Leveled income, the amount you receive is leveled. You know what you're getting. However, indexed income is the income that as annuity with the level payment index income provides payment that increases over the period of time, okay, in order to track inflation. Okay, so this index income, it tracks inflation because right now in Canada, inflation is at the rate of 2.4%. Okay, if you have a leveled income, the purchasing power of your money may not be the same by next year compared to what it is this year. So index income is the one that allows your income to index or to track what is happening with inflation and stuff like that. Okay. Moving on to variable income. Okay, a variable income annuity is an immediate life annuity which allows annuitants to earn investment returns that are linked to market performance. Okay, so like we see, the one that index has to track with inflation and stuff like that, but variable income is the one that mimic market performance. So if market is down, then your income will likely be low, but if market is high, you cash in on advantages of market doing so well, and in return you get more pay, you know coming to you. So those are variable. Again, like all these options, it's good to know these options, it's good to know they are there, but however they may not be suitable for everybody because there are some people that prefer stability, that wants that stability, that a steady income brings. So all these other index and variable income options may not be for them. Okay, so let's talk about factors that affect annuity payments. Well, the factor number one factors that affects annuity payment is the rate. Okay, the annuity rate is a dollar figure quoted to the future policy owner that they will receive, because annuity is driven by your rate and the principles you're contributing, right? So for instance, if you have $10,000 and your rate is 5%, that's what you're going to get. And if the rate you're getting is 10%, then that increases the amount you're going to get. So that's annuity for you. So it's driven by rate. And also, uh, yeah, number one, annuity rates. Okay. For example, Benedict purchased an annuity contract with an annuity rate of 6,000 per 100,000. If she deposit 300,000 in the annuity and she will receive payments of 18,000. That's 300,000 divided by 100,000 multiplied by 6,000 annually. The annuity rate also takes into consideration costs that are applied against the contract, such as commissions and insurance expenses. All right. Another factor that affects annuity is interest rate. So this one is annuity rate. Now, don't confuse annuity rate and interest rate. Annuity is the rate that the insurance company is giving you. That is the rate, right? Now, interest rate is another big factor. Okay. Interest rate affects the time the contract is issued as a major factor, because the interest rate when your contract is issued is the one that you are going to be dealing with when you are setting up the contract. So if the interest rate goes up afterwards, then what are you going to do, right? Now, the major factor in determining the payment to the annuitant. So the interest rates at the time of the contract being settled is a major determinant of how much you'll be getting on a continuous basis. So the interest rates assigned to the annuity never change over its duration. That is, if interest rate changes during the term of the annuity payment does not change in response. Yeah, doesn't change. Oh my God. Wow. All right, age of the annuitant. Well, just like every other insurance product, age of the annuitant also play a factor too, right? So the younger the annuitant, the contract holder, um, the lesser contribution you have to make, right? So the age of the annuitant making when payment begins is a significant contributor to the amount received as income. Okay, the older the annuitant, the larger each payment will be. Anyway, and also the time of setting up the contract, because if you set up the contract when you are 35 and your payment doesn't begin until you're 50, then that might also make your money to that you receive be bigger than somebody that received the money, start receiving the money 5 years later. Gender of the annuitant. Women receive a lower life annuity payment because on an average they live longer than men. Therefore, to receive the same income as a male annuitant at the same age, a larger deposit is required. Wow. So we live longer and as such our own payment is smaller. Oh boy. Okay, we talked about gender. Of course, the money you receive, is a function of how much you deposit to, right? Deposit amount, payment schedule. If you want money every month or you want it, biannually, um, what is it called, quarterly or stuff like that. The length of payment period. So when policy owner buys an annuity contract, they commit to deposit a set amount in principal, capital, whatever, and the insurance then they pay them principals for interest over a period of time. So the longer the period that your payment will be spread over, then the smaller the amount that you potentially might be getting. Okay. 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 Moving on. You see, again, just like I think I've explained this before, when you look at your annuity, you have the contract holder, oftentimes is the annuitant, that is the person receiving the annuity income or annuity payments. Okay. And then, but that doesn't mean that the person doesn't designate beneficiaries. you still have to name your beneficiaries, but you, the contract holder, you are the annuitant. Okay. Now, guaranteed period and guaranteed capital. All right. A term annuity is guaranteed for its entire term. If the contract owner dies during the term, a beneficiary received the difference between the sum invested and the amount paid to the annuitant. The three options available for a beneficiary are discussed. We've talked about the options. Either the beneficiary can take the money lump sum. The beneficiary can also, take the money on over a period of time. Like, okay, I want this money to be paid to me as a steady streams of income. All right. A life annuity can be issued without a guarantee. Okay. A guarantee applies to a period of time states as a number of years, such as 10, 20, or this length of time. Now, the guarantee ensures that if the annuitant dies before the end of the guarantee period, then the beneficiary receives a payment from the contract. The amount the beneficiary receives represent the difference between the number of payments or period for guarantee period and the number of payments the annuitant receive. Okay. For example, Annette purchased a life annuity that is paid monthly for 10 years, guaranteed for 10 years period. She names her twin sister, Ava, as the beneficiary of the contract. The guarantee assures that the annuity will be issued a minimum of 120 payments, 12 month payments per year, multiplied by 10. If Annette dies after receiving 100 payments, her sister Ava will receive the equivalent of 20 payments, which is 120 minus 100. Pretty much straightforward. So the annuities with guarantee, the beneficiary receives the difference. Okay. Now, the amount the beneficiary receive may be paid as a lump sum, okay, corresponding to the current value of the future guaranteed payment, or on installment basis that will be made on a guaranteed period of time. Okay. Um, However, a life annuity without guarantee is a risky investment. Oh yeah. The annuitant of a single life contract could die after receiving a first month payment. If no guarantee was in place, no payment would be made to any beneficiary. The balance of the sum invested with the insurance would then belong to the insurer. However, a life annuity without a guarantee also pays at a higher rate than when guarantees are added. The contract owner or annuitant must weigh the higher return against the higher risk to decide which form of annuity they want to go with. Wow, wow. So, in other words, it's important to have an annuity, a life annuity with guarantee in place. Otherwise, what happens to you when you die after receiving one payment? You see, the insurance company will keep the money. Hello, magic. No way. Ah, so go. Let's read this example. Tony and Jane buys 100,000 joint in last survival life annuity with a 10-year guarantee. Tony and Jane are co-annuitants. Jane is set to receive the full amount of the benefit upon Tony's death. Tony and Jane's son Roger is the beneficiary. Tony received 300 per month as his annuity payment. Jane does not receive a payment. When Tony dies 2 years after receiving his first payment, payments are then issued to Jane. Okay, so Jane received 300 per month. until she dies 3 years later. Payments were made to Tony and Jane for a total of 5 years. Rogers received a sum of equivalent of 5 years payment because the contract has a 10-year guarantee. That is 18,000. Okay? Yes. No, you've been on device too long. Can you go and close that door? When I finish, I'll meet you. Okay? Can you close the door for me, please? Thank you. All right, so that example is pretty much straightforward. Okay, and also with annuity, we can also include return of premium guarantees. So some insurance offers return of premium guarantee as a rider, okay, to the contract, just like we have return of premium rider on life insurance. Awesome. So we've been looking at the benefits of annuities. However, everything that has some good side should definitely have some setbacks, right? So let's look at some of the setbacks of annuities. What are the limitations of annuities? Number one is risk. Okay, annuities are insulated from many typical investment risk. Okay, and then for the contract owner and annuitants, when they are not issued in a variable income form, once the contract is finalized, the investor knows how much to expect, right? So when the contract is finalized, the investor knows how much to expect. So you are not you're not worried about, okay, what's going to happen based on the current situation. No, you will know that you know what you're going to be getting and you get that. Interest rate risk. Interest rate risk is often associated with annuity, especially when interest rates are low at the time of the contract. Exactly. When the interest rates were low at the time of contract, let's say the interest rates were 2% when you sign the contract. Now interest rate is 5%. You can't take advantage of the high interest rate anymore because you're already into the contract, right? Then we also have inflation risk, right? Inflation goes hand in hand with interest rate. So most likely when interest rate is high, inflation is likely to be high as well. And that tends to kind of reduce the purchasing power of your money. Okay? Loss of capital. A life annuity contract without a guarantee period risk the loss of capital. Yes, when you don't have a life annuity without a guarantee, you don't have a beneficiary, so anything can happen to you and your capital is lost. Adding a guarantee period increases the cost of the annuity payment and to the annuitants are less when the guarantee period exists. So you now need to decide, do you want to pay that high cost? I think it's worth it in my own opinion. Okay. Restrictions on withdrawal or surrender. Yes, there's very little liquidity and flexibility with annuity investment, since there may be restrictions or penalties on withdrawal of fund or surrendering of your fund. You see, you can't wake up and say, hey, I know to again, or blah, 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 blah. No, it doesn't work like that with annuities, okay? It's very, very limited when it comes to withdrawal or surrender options. Okay. Withdrawal payouts annuity do not permit withdrawal. So when a market withdrawal is made from an accumulation annuity, a market value adjustment or penalty is being calculated based on the withdrawal. Wow. A policy surrendering of policy terminates the policy on annuity funded by the transfer of locked-in funds from a registered pension plan, locked-in retirement account or LIRA, cannot be surrendered. Wow, awesome, awesome, awesome. Ah, a term annuity may be surrendered for its accumulated value, which means all future annuity payments will be paid out lump sum. Okay. Surrender of a life annuity may be possible when annuity payments have not started. Yeah. Okay, so a life annuity whereby, let's say it was a deferred annuity, an annuity payment have not commenced, that may be possible. And then also, in contrast to a payout annuity, an accumulation annuity may be surrendered at any time, and any time, and its cash value is received by the policy owner, less any charges or whatever. Taxation of annuity. Annuity payments are made up of a blended of investment capital deposits to the contract by the policy owner and interest earned on those capital. Payout annuities are taxed depending on how they were funded and whether they qualify as prescribed annuities. The growth in an accumulation annuity is taxed annually, and if it is held in a non-registered account. The growth in accumulation is not taxed annually if it is held in a registered account, as a taxation of the growth is tax deferred until withdrawal. Okay, so if you have annuity that is not registered account, the growth is taxed annually. However, if it's a registered account, the growth is not taxed annually because it has the benefit of the tax deferral options. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Taxation of registered payments. When an annuity is purchased with taxable registered fund, such as transfer from Rrsp, the payment the payment received by the annuitant is taxed as income in the year it was received. Okay. Yeah, just like when you receive money from your Rrsp. So the payment is taxed in the hand of the annuitant in the year it was received. Okay, makes sense. Um, a deferred annuity purchased with a registered fund is not taxed during the deferred period, as no income is received by the annuitant. Of course, if you purchase a deferred annuity with your registered fund, maybe when we say registered fund, we're talking about funds from, excuse me, from your RIF or your Rrsp. Um, the annuity is still deferred. It's not going to be taxed until you receive payment. Okay. And then withholding tax is applied to payments when annuities have been purchased with a fund transferred from registered pension plan, LIF, LIRA, or deferred profit sharing plan. Okay. Withdrawal from a registered accumulation annuities are charged a withholding tax except if the account is a registered retirement income fund. Then withholding tax only applies on an account on amount withdrawals above the annual minimum requirement amount. Hmm. Anyways, taxation of the non-registered plan. Well, that one will be taxed now. Withdrawal from a non-registered accumulated annuity must be reported for tax purposes. Okay. Moving on, talking about prescribed annuity. Prescribed annuity pays the same amount of interest and investment capital to the annuitant in every payment. Payments are thus said to be level, and this is highly desired because the amount of interest to be declared for income tax does not change, and tax obligation can be known and planned for. Okay, yeah. So prescribed annuity, that one gives you peace of mind, especially for those that love stability in everything that they do. So with this preferred one, you know what you're going to be paying on your income tax, so there's no surprises at all. Yeah. And then there are a number of requirements that must be satisfied for annuity income to be prescribed. Annuity cannot be indexed. Annuity, the annuitant and the policy owner must be the same person unless the annuity is joint life with his spouse or sibling named as the co-annuitant. Payment must begin no later than December 31st of the year following the purchase date. Okay. Accrual annuity. Well, an accrual annuity payment is compromises of more interest than investment capital in its early years. Consequently, accrual annuities have large amount of tax owing in the early years and payments compared to prescribed annuities. Well, accrual annuity is the one that this form of annuity accumulates annuities in the early years, and so are the taxes. Okay, the taxes are accumulated and will be paid at the later years. Okay, let's look at the example. Period wishes to invest in an annuity to receive payments 5 years from now, depending on the type of annuity purchased. Depending on the type of annuity purchased, payments will be taxed on an accrual or prescribed basis. Scenario one, which is the accrual annuity basis. Peter buys a deferred life annuity. He is the annuitant of the contract. His first month payment is to begin 5 years from now. The annuity does not meet the condition to be prescribed because it is deferred beyond December 31st of that year. So he is taxed on his investment growth annually during the 5 years of the deferral. Each of his payments is 800 when they begin, and it comprises of 100 in the capital and 700 in interest. Therefore, of the 9,600 he receives for the year, 800 times 12, he pays tax on 8,400. That is 700 times 12. And after 5 years, each 800 payment is 400 in capital and 400 in interest. After 10 years, the payment is 700 capital and 100 in interest. Wow. Hmm. I hope this is clear to all of us. The second scenario, the prescribed annuity. Peter acquired an accumulation annuity contract. He is taxed on investment growth annually. 5 years later, Peter decided to use the savings in his contract to transfer into immediate life annuity, in which he is the annuitant. Payments of $800 are to begin immediately, since the life annuity meets all the necessary conditions it is prescribed. The amount of tax he pays is level. That is, it is equal throughout the payment period because each payment will be prescribed of the same portion of capital and interest. If the payment comprises of 440 of capital and 360 of interest, on the 9,600 he will receive annually. The 800 times 12 will be paid. He will pay taxes on 4,320, which is 360 times 12 for the duration of the payment period. Okay. Slow. Okay. Tax on guarantees. Okay. The tax on the payments of a guarantee to a beneficiary is not clear, and guidance should be sought from the insurance agent the guarantee payments. Okay. Tax on surrender. Well, when policy is surrendered, tax applies on investment growth in the contract unless registered funds are the source of the contract deposit. Okay. What are the tax benefits? Anyways, annuity incomes may be eligible for tax benefit income splitting, and the pension income tax credits allow up to 50% of the taxable income from a payout annuity to be transferred to their spouses. Okay. Um, Annuity classification. Well, we can see some classification of annuity as follows. Sorry, I need to say that. Um, Annuity must be defined, the life covered by the contract, okay? Whether it is single or joint, the timing of payment, if it's immediate or deferred, the types of funding, if it's registered or not registered, the type of payment, e.g., whether level, index, or variable, the duration of payment, which is term or for life. All these specifications, you see, have to be specified. Okay. And also, there are some new types of annuities, which is more like a customized form of annuity. This is not something that is very popular right now. Okay, and I really haven't seen any advanced life deferred annuity. This one is an advanced deferred life annuity. Is a life annuity available to individuals who have an Rsp or RIF, or who participate in a deferred profit sharing plan, pooled registered pension plan, or a defined contribution pension plan. So more of these accounts are plans is provided later in this manner. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So the key to this form of annuity is that the ability to defer payments until the end of the year in which the annuitant reaches age 85. Therefore, the advanced life deferred annuity addresses longevity risk. You see, ensure the investor do not deplete their savings prematurely. Well, this plan. I think the key point here is that it allows payment to be deferred till the annuitant reaches age 85 before you start receiving payment. And this kind of annuity is good for people that want to be sure that they don't run out of money or they don't deplete their money on time. All right. So I think we have come to the end of this section, which is the annuity section. We should be moving on now to investor profile. Investor profile. It's still this thing is loading. Okay, so we're moving on to investor profile. Any questions so far? Okay, So let's move on. Investor profile. See, what is the purpose of developing an investor profile? Well, the investor profile is a collection of data about the client's financial situations and the personal factors. The data we collect enable us to analyze our clients and know, you see, the client's risk tolerance. That's basically what investor profile is all about. Every time we do investment, because I'm explaining this now in my own language, and which is what the text is referring to. Every time we do investment for our client, we do what we call investor profile, because that's what tells us the risk tolerance. Okay, is this client a conservative client? Is this client a balanced client? Like, is this client an aggressive investor? That is basically what investor profile is all about. You see, to create an investor profile, the agent must review the assets and liability of the client to determine their overall financial situation. We have to look at some personal factors that may affect the client's investment decisions. We need to look at the needs and the objectives of our clients. We need to look at the source of income during the retirement. Do they have any other source of income? Do they have anything to fall back on? And then we need to look at the programs and savings plans that can help the client save and meet their goals and objectives. Now, financial situation. What do you look at when you are looking at financial situation? You just look at to evaluate through their net worth to see what is their asset management abilities and all that. This ones I'm going to just run through it, okay? Because you know, it's a, and you need to review their assets. Again, you're not going to like sit down. No, it's just okay. What is your your net worth? What is your assets? What is your liabilities? Do you have any other source of income? All those yara yara yara. You know, this the single most valuable asset most people own is their home, right? Okay, and that's the equity in their house and all that stuff. And then ask them if any other personal assets, jewelry, and all those stuff, kind of stuff. Um, and then also their income and tax returns. There is income that they report on their tax returns. And then after the income of their tax return, notice of assessment or taxpayers, the key information. This one is so cheating. We don't ask people all this now. But the bottom line is this: when we do investor profile, we already have, you know, we can do it remotely, we can do it online, we can print it out. But many a times the companies of the experience at Experience, we already have, you know, all the investor profile. We don't even bother ourselves to. We just ask them the question from the investor profile itself. So it's not something you come up with from your head. Okay. Um, Summary of notice of assessment. Income can be earned from multiple sources, so you can ask them if they earn income from other sources. Okay. Mm, Dependabilities. Do they have any whatever families that they are supporting and all that? Okay. Registered retirement savings plan and their statement. Okay, their financial institutions where they currently have those things. Okay, and do they know the growth? Many a times people don't even check the growth on those investments. Then we need to check how much have they invested. Okay, and then is there a limit to the number of Rsp account a person may have? Therefore, an individual may have multiple Rsp statements. Yes, we need to ask this one. Oftentimes, I ask people, how many people have access to their CRA online account? So I encourage them to check their CRA online account so they can know how much contribution they have for their RSP. You know what that does is to mitigate against over contributing, right? Okay. Moving on to a non-registered investment account. Okay, so after we've asked them if they have registered accounts, then we also ask them if they have non-registered investment account, just like an RRSP statement. Statement from a non-registered or taxable account will be summarized by you know. And then unlike Rsp, there are no limitations. Of course, there are no limitations to non-registered. They can contribute any amount into a non-registered account. Okay. Pension plan statement, if there's any bank statement, life insurance policies, of course, we ask them this. Other assets or other sources of income like real estate, review of liabilities, who are they owing, you know, those type of things. Okay. Mortgage statements. Okay. Line of credit, line of credit, credit card statements. We also, because these are how we determine the liabilities, right? Financial position of a client, assets and liabilities are compiled to form financial profile, and the net worth, of course. The net worth statement. The net worth is value of all assets minus value of all liabilities. Okay. And we can see that in this example. This is an example of a net worth statement. So you look at all the assets, you look at all the liabilities, right? And then this like a cash flow statement to arrive at the net worth. Uh, Example of cash flow statement, okay? This like, expenses, and all that stuff. Personal factors that affect investment. Well, many personal factors, our preferences motivate investment decisions, and they include personal values, health, and concern. You see, these personal values is very, very important, because um, I've met people that, oh, because of my value, I cannot, invest in this, in that. You see, legal considerations, some investor profile must be taken into account, legal obligations to others that have financial impact. Okay. Now we also have family law. A, a person in a married or a common law relationship has financial responsibility to his or her spouse, whether the same or opposite sex when they separate and divorce. So yeah, all those things have to be put into considerations. I've met people that tell me, well, because of my religion, I cannot invest in segregated funds because my religion doesn't allow me to invest in anything that will give me profit because it is called haram. So what can you do now? So you need to do all these things so that you'll be able to understand people's perspective. All right. Also, with developing the investor profile, calls for a review of a will to see that commitments are planned for values of the estates and stuff like that. Okay, moving on. Power of attorney, of course. We've talked about power of attorney either in this class or in ethics, all right? The power of attorney is essential, all right, because a document that nominates a person to act on behalf of another person under specified circumstances. Okay, personal risk. Each investor faces their own risk. Low level of financial literacy. Yes, sometimes lack of financial literacy. Financial literacy is the ability to understand the fundamental matters of personal finance. Individual differs greatly regarding their level of financial literacy. So the agent should never make an assumption based on what a client appears to know or ought to know. What this is telling us is that as agents, we need to see beyond, what people are telling us or making an assumption that okay, this person is this, so there's no, you don't make an assumption. Okay. When you are not clear, you ask questions so that you gather facts. Okay, risk. of job loss. Well, job loss can have a harmful effect on investment and saving plans, right? So an emergency fund that is savings to cover living expenses for a minimum of 3 to 6 months, okay, is highly recommended. All right. Well, longevity risk. You see, we all pray to live long. All right. But when you pray to live long, you also have to make adequate plans and preparation to fund that long living. Okay. People are currently living longer in Canada than ever. And as a result, there is need for more provisions to be made for their life as they live longer than before. So this we need to tell our people. So therefore, it means retirement savings must last longer than what it used to. So longevity risk can be managed by insurance specific investment that provide a lifelong income. Okay. Risk of bankruptcy. Well, bankruptcy occurs when individuals or a company is unable to meet their financial obligations to creditor. So risk of bankruptcy, you see, is mitigated by financial arrangements and management. Okay. Risk of leveraging. Oh boy. Leveraging is when an individual uses borrowed money to attain a financial goal. So some form of leveraging are common and are considered safe, such as acquiring mortgage to purchase a home and develop the equity in the home. Some form of leverages are considered risky, such as using a loan to invest in a non-guaranteed investment. If the investment loses value, the investor has lost principal plus he owes the amount to the loan invested. Yeah, that's so true. Okay. So now to leverage, you have to you need to look at your investor profile to determine if leveraging or what level of leveraging will you recommend for them. Uh, Risk of unforeseen expenses. Well, life happens, right? So things could happen that is not planned for, right? Now, investor needs. Well, the investor needs are essential to develop investor profile because needs override wants, right? Needs represent the reason behind the investor's motivation for exploring investment options as well as making investment decisions. Okay. Whew. Moving on, moving. Okay. Need for income. Okay. Sometimes income is a necessity to pay, the cost of living and all that. So the goal must be realistic and identified, right? So we need to know the needs of our clients that we will be able to meet their needs specifically. So individuals or household income needs also have to be established as well. So need for retirement income, of course, this can be government retirement pension income, private pension income, investment income, personal income, and all this stuff. Okay. Income splitting. Okay, income splitting takes advantage of the different marginal tax rates of spouse. So when spouse have the same marginal tax rate, income splitting serves no purpose. Yes, if husband and wife are in the same marginal tax rate, the income splitting is of no effect, right? Mhm. Income splitting apportions income between spouses so that some income is moved to a spouse whose paid tax is lower margin. For example, if I'm in like 25% tax rate and my husband is in 40% tax bracket and he earns more, then he can move some of his own money to me, okay, so that his own tax bracket could potentially go, because he could move some money under me, then I still pay 25%. And by him moving that money to me, perhaps brings him to even a 30% tax bracket. However, if both of us are on the same tax bracket, that doesn't make sense. Okay. All right, need for tax efficiency. So using a tax credit is another way to reduce income tax, okay? Federal and provincial territory tax credits are available. So some tax credits are non-refundable and they can reduce income tax, but if the total credit surpass credit tax, then a refund is not used. Sorry, then a refund is not issued for the balance. All these are works of accountant, not the works of advisor. Okay, need for emergency fund. Of course, there's need to have at least 3 to 6 months emergency funds kept aside for unforeseen expenses. The need for creditors proofing. So a creditor is a person or company that is owed money by another. So a creditor has the right and recourse to attain a repayment of the amount owed. An asset creditor proof when a creditor cannot legally obtain a debtor's asset or its value, right? Awesome. Well, need for liquidity. We all need liquidity, right? Liquidity refers to how easily a person or company can retrieve cash, and this includes converting assets into cash. So liquidity is some asset is essential to help person in the event of disaster or personal hardship. Okay. Need for estate planning. Well, the net worth statement determine if assets are available to credit inheritance for children, family funds, or for a charity. All that are stated um is it in the will, right? Yeah. Okay, charitable giving. Well, an interest in charitable giving is sparked by a person who gives to others and put a precedence on the needs outside their own individual interests. So charitable giving is associated with estate planning. So a person who wants to donate to charity after their death, this is often done by people who have donated their charity, who have donated to their charity during their lifetime, and they hope that to continue to do so even following their death. Guys, excuse me. Okay, sorry about that. So the next one is need for diversification, an assessment of financial documents and investment statement may show, you see, the concentration of the money where these investors have their money. Okay. Need for investment management. Okay. A review of investor assets and the knowledge may show that the investor runs risk that will have been otherwise avoidable due to choice of that they've made in the past. Hi, what's the matter? Do you need anything? Okay. Need for suitability. Suitability is a specific investment need that is very important to meet. when the agent compares the feature of an investment to the investor's investment objectives. All right. Other specific investment needs. Uh, this may be specified as follows. See, basically, this is just like looking at our clients, right, holistically to see what their needs are and be able to determine the product and service that will meet their specific needs. You see, we need to also ask them, do they have government retirement pension, income, old age security, talk about all those things, right? Mm. Sorry? Is it your own or mine? But this is mine. You can, of course. I saw Kendrick playing around with it. Okay, so now we have a old age contribution. Contributions are not made directly to US government of Canada funds the program. So this retirement pension benefit amount is established based on the amount of time an individual has lived in Canada since the age they turn 18, depending on eligibility. Old age, what is it called again? Is it old age? The S. What is the S stand for again? Is it old age support? Or old, it's not old age benefits. Can you imagine? What is this? Anyways, yeah, the old age support benefit is the retirement pension amount, and that is established by amount of time that someone have lived in Canada since they turned 18. If there is an increase in the consumer price index CPI, then the benefit increases every January, April, and July and October. Okay. Taxation of benefit. OAS benefits are taxable income. Okay. The pension is linked to income, and the Income Tax Act established OAS payment threshold. Right. There are a level of benefits 100%, blah, 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 and all that. Okay. Then we also have CPP. Okay. To prevent paying large sum in the future, benefits may be reduced by a recovery tax. Okay. It reduces monthly benefit. All right. So if you are paid more than what you're supposed to be paid, then the subsequent benefit will be reduced. Then the next one is Canada Pension Plan, CPP. Almost all workers between the ages of 18 and 70 and employers in Canada pays into the Canada Pension Plan, CPP. So the CPP provides a retirement pension, survivor's pension, disability benefits, and death benefits. Okay. However, in Quebec pension plan, which is QPP, is similar to CPP for Quebec workers and employers. All right. Post-retirement benefit, which does not exist. Okay, there are some slight difference between the CPP and QPP, such as follows. Okay, this is the CPP eligibility. To be eligible for CPP retirement pension, a worker must have made one valid CPP contribution and submit an application. See, you need to submit an application. Note that the application cannot be submitted until 1 month after the individual turn 59. Okay, so after you've turned 59, 1 month after, you can submit application for CPP. Oops. Oh boy, where did I move this to? Okay, so moving on to okay, CPP benefits. The more contribution to the plan, the more ultimately paid as pension to the maximum. Okay, the amount you receive as a pension can be improved by dropping out from the pension calculation So a certain number of low earning years, blah blah blah. Okay. Contribution to the CPP ends when the pension initiates at age 70 or death. Okay. Now the CPP retirement pension can commence while continuing to work. Contributions to the CPP resumed by the employer. My internet is so slow. Nice. Okay. By the employee and employer or by the self-employed, and they go towards the payment of the post-retirement benefit. What are CPP benefits? The amount received as a monthly retirement pension benefit is as a result of the number of years contributions are made. It depends on the amount you contributed, the age at which the pension begins, and the pension increases on a yearly basis based on the increase in the cost of living. So that is that on CPP, and the examples are right there. Okay. I'd like us to take these two examples. Lorraine will retire at age 60 in 2017. She will receive $657.90 from CPP. At age 65, however, beginning 5 years early, she incurs a reduction of 36%, which is 7.2% times 5 years. At age 60, Lauren will receive 421, which is $657.90 multiplied by 36% as a CPP retirement pension. The second example says that Stephen decides the time for retirement will arrive. Stephen decides the time for retirement will arise when he turns 69 in 2017. As a result of waiting, his CPP retirement pension is increased from his base, which would have been 922.44 as age at age 65 to 1,232.38 at age 69. Mm. PRB recipient receive benefit based on any CPP contribution made in the previous year. This section is so dry. Taxation of benefit. The CPP benefit is a taxable income. Benefit for low income earners. Well, the guarantee income supplement, which is GIS, and the allowance are monthly benefit paid low income earners who also are receiving old age um is it old age support benefits or thereabout. Okay. And these benefits are not taxable. Okay. Supplementary pensions may be offered provincially to low income retired residents. Okay. GIS eligibility and the following applicants requirements received a guaranteed income supplement. Applicants must live in Canada, be a legal Canadian resident, meet the annual income test, make their application in writing. Contributions are not made to the GIC directly. Government revenue fund the GIS, and the GIS benefits are available starting at age 65. Wow. Okay. The allowance is accessible to individual who are 60 to 64 years old, whose married or common law spouse receive OAS and is eligible for GIS. It is not a requirement to make contribution to receive these benefits. Okay, so these ones are benefits. So it's not requirement for you to make contribution in order for you to receive benefits. Okay. Um. Okay. So this next part now is employer provided retirement pensions. Okay, an employer provided retirement pension is in place to reward employees by paying future pension income. Okay, so these are, we've looked about we have defined benefit pension plan, we have defined contribution pension plan, and we have pooled registered pension plan. So you see, we've looked at the government uh, programs that is given to us people that don't have anything planned out for retirement. We saw old age supplementary benefit, is it old age OAS benefits? And then we also talked about there was another second one, which is benefit for the low income, which is a GIS. Okay. Um GIS stands for guaranteed income supplements. Okay. So all that is for, you don't need to contribute into them to benefit from those government programs. All you need to do is to be a Canadian citizen, and also for OAS, it tracks how long you've lived in Canada since you turned age 18. All right. So once that is covered, now we will be looking at the employer provided retirement pension. We're looking at the pension programs provided by employers. And these are defined benefit pension plan, defined contribution pension plan, and pooled registered pension plan. Okay. Now, savings in an RPP are a valuable asset for the plan members. However, most Canadian workers are not members of RPP. Therefore, they must personally fund their own retirement cost savings through other plans, such as, okay. So there are some employers that don't have all these pensions plan in place. In that case, the individual have to fund their retirement through their own individual RRSP account. Okay. So I'm looking for the best. Okay. All purpose sector employees are provided with retirement pension from their employer, that is doctors, medical, teachers, blah, blah, blah. The private sector employees may not be provided with employer provided retirement pension plan. Depends. Like for us now, our business is a private business. Right now, we are not providing any retirement pension plan to our staff, but there are some organizations that does that, regardless of whether they are private or not. Okay, the plan sponsor most often is the employer. Okay, and plan administrator is the person or a third party that has ultimate responsibility for the plan administration of the plan. Okay, plan members receive brochures or booklets that details the information that is relevant to them. Vesting is a feature of RPP that describe who owns the sponsor's contribution to the employee's plan. When an employee leaves his his employer, the employee's savings always remain his savings and they belong to him. The question arises, what about the money the employer has contributed to the departed employee pension? Well, the The rules are determined by the Pension Benefit Act of each jurisdiction in which the plan is registered. Okay. Uh, in the best case, vesting immediate the employees receive both his or her employer's contribution when he leaves. Less favorably is when vesting occurs when the employee is required to stay a certain length of time with employer before he's entitled to both contribution. So those are the things we need to look at for the exam, because if the vesting period is immediate, of course, when the employee leaves his employer, his or her employer, he can will be entitled, eligible to take both the employer contribution and his or her own contribution. However, if the vesting period is deferred or is in the future, then that might be a tricky one. Okay. In that case, the employee can only go with what he or she have contributed, not what the employer have contributed. Okay. For pension plan contributions, whether made by the employee or by the employer, and growth of those contributions due to investment returns are locked in. Locked in means that an employee cannot access the value of the RPP, of this RPP, until it reaches the retirement age. Okay, that's the thing with registered plan. Those contributions into retirement, they are locked in. Hi. Okay, I can carry you right now. Okay, I need to finish. All right. Have you eaten? Can I have that, please? Thank you. Okay. Defined benefit pension plans. Okay. Locked in refers to the limitation put on the access of the money in the registered pension plan. So, and this applies to defined benefit pension plan, defined contribution pension plan, and put registered pension plan. Okay. Under particular circumstances, it is possible to unlock the total value of your retirement pension plan. And these circumstances include the case of financial hardship, shortened life expectancy, usually defined as 2 years or less, and very low account balance. Okay. There are two phases to lock in plans: savings phase and income phase. Okay. There is savings phase and income phase. Savings phase is when you are saving into the plan, and the income phase is when you are still receiving income from the plan. Okay. Mm. So let's look at defined benefit pension plan. Well, a defined benefit pension plan makes a dependable contribution, wow, to the retirement income needs. The defined benefit pension plan pays an income on retirement that is known in advance. You see, just long story short, defined benefits, there are not many organizations that provide defined benefits today. Okay, most of the organizations that provide defined benefits are mostly government organizations, okay, like teachers and all that stuff. And this is a benefit that is most beneficial to employees and most detrimental to the employer, in the sense that defined benefit promises specific amount to the employees, you see, upon retirement. And sometimes they are not in control of the future. Nobody knows what may happen tomorrow, right? But because they've already made those commitments, they have to stick to it. Many a times the reason why employers make those commitments is because they would love to retain quality staff to work for them for a long period of time, right? See, a defined benefit pension plan members makes no investment decisions, and the plan sponsors select an investment that will make the promised pension at retirement. Well, The employers don't need to worry about anything. The onus is on the employer to ensure that they make the right investment decisions such that when it's time for the retirees to get their pay, they have enough money to settle them. Okay. They define benefits, pension plan eligibility. Well, eligibility, it can be of all the company's employees or a class of employees. Okay, when a pension plan is created on a class basis, on a class by class basis, every employee in that particular class is entitled to join. Okay, um, a full-time employee is entitled to join a plan after 2 years of continuous employment called service, unless the term of the plan authorizes the employee to join earlier. Again, that's another thing. Like in some organizations, for a full-time employee, you cannot join the plan until you've worked for 2 years. In some organizations, you needed to have worked for a whole year before you can join the plan. But these kind of things that one can negotiate with your HR. You know, when an organization is so willing to hire you, you can negotiate for immediate participation in the retirement plan. You see, ah, this is not this. I'll leave this my gist for another day. I was going to tell you guys the gist now, but I'll leave it for another day. Okay. Um, a part-time employee also might be entitled to join after 24 months of employment. So depending on the contract that the part-time employee have. All right. So uh next is defined benefit pension plan contributions. Well, the sponsors select a plan that is either contributory or non-contributory. Well, if it's a contributory plan, then employee and the employer makes the contribution. But non-contributory is only then the employer only makes the contribution into the plan. Okay. Da, 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 da. The employer contributes to the funding of the pension plan is determined by the actual estimation of the amount required. And then when a plan contributes, when a plan is a contributory plan, then the employee may be able to make additional contributions that will generate a high pension. Okay. Choo, 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 choo. Then defined benefit pension plan. What is the advantage of this? Well, the amount received by the former employee is typically calculated in one or three ways. Okay, by the final average earning based on the average earning in the last year leading to retirement, or by the career average earning based on the average earning during the entire period of plan membership. So, and also a flat benefit. All these are different ways that the benefits are being calculated. Okay. Defined contribution pension plan. For a defined contribution pension plan, it's also called money purchase plan. Well, for this one, the employer makes no obligation to the amount of pension that will be received. Okay, the plan member and the where was I? The plan member is not aware of the income to anticipate. Of course, for this one, the plan member is not aware of the income to expect. So it's whatever, And to be eligible, you have to be a member or an employee, either part time or full time. Depends on all those categories of employment status will determine how soon you can join the plan. Just like we saw in the defined um, benefit pension plan. Okay. Um, Defined contribution pension plan contributions may be made by the employee and the employer. Okay. Employee contributions are not mandatory, and the supplementary voluntary contributions may not be approved. There is no contribution to the defined contribution pension plan allowed for previous service. Wow. So the income tax established by the year of contribution limit, and the employer provides information regarding investment to the employees. Okay. Then we move on to pool registered pension plan. Well, the newest form of pension plan is a pool registered pension plan. We talked about this briefly earlier, right? So it is administrator provincially registered plan and following blah blah blah. Well, it's basically where you have entrepreneurs and other smaller businesses coming together to provide a pension plan for their employees. Okay. Um, the eligibility for the pool registered pension plan. Well, full-time employees are eligible to join. Part-time employees are also eligible to join, perhaps after finishing their 24 months, of non-interrupted employment. Okay. Pool registered pension plan contributions. Well, employee and employer make contributions to the plan, and they are made as a deductions from payroll earnings. Also, the RRSP contribution limit is equal to the maximum limit for a yearly contribution. Okay, transfer to um, pooled registered pension plan can be made from individual RRSP registered retirement income fund and referred profit sharing plan. Awesome. What are the benefits of pooled registered pension plans? Well, funds are locked in, okay, with same restrictions as the locked in pension savings. Retirement income will be based on the amount you saved when contributions are made. Okay. Employer provided savings plans. Okay, so the one we've seen so far is employer provided retirement plans. Okay, remember, the employer provided retirement plans are defined benefit contribution, uh, defined benefit pension plan, defined contribution pension plan, and pooled registered pension plan. Okay, those are the three. You might see questions that say the following are uh, employer provided pension plan, except, requesting you to find the wrong answer. So don't miss that one. That should be the easy one to get right. Now we are moving on to employer provided savings plan. Okay. What are the employer provided savings plans? Savings plans are made available to employees from employers as deferred profit sharing plan, group registered retirement savings plan. Okay, these plans are not overseen by pension standard legislation and do not have the lock-in provision of the employer provided pension. Okay, so now we have deferred profit sharing plans and group registered retirement savings plan. These are employer provided savings plan. So defined profit sharing plans, the companies offered defined profit sharing plans to share a portion of their business profit with employees. That's basically it. How can you be eligible? You're eligible once you are a member, okay, of the plan sponsor. Okay, define pension saving, deferred pension profit sharing plan contributions. The employer is the only one, of course, the only one, because the one sharing profit now. Okay, a member annual compensations of 50% of the DCPP limit. VAT vesting is provided in a 2-year maximum. Okay, the defined profit sharing plan value is not locked in. A withdrawal may be made while the plan member is still employed. Okay, see, this one is not locked in like the retirement plan kind of thing. Contribution creates pensions adjustment and as a result reduce available Rsp contributions. Okay, so if your company makes lots of profit and they happen to distribute lots of money to everybody, that would automatically reduce your Rsp contribution. Okay, all withdrawals are taxable to the employee. All withdrawals are taxable to the employee at the same rate as regular income. Okay, awesome. What are the benefits of deferred profit sharing benefit? Well, the members retires or move to another employer, then they can transfer their DC. They receive a proceed of the plan as lump sum. They can use the proceed to buy annuity or transfer fund to their Rrsp or RIF account. A member can also start to receive income payments from the plan when he retires. Okay, group registered retirement savings plan, that is group Rrsp. Okay, this is also can be look at can look like individual Rsp, just that this one is in a group, right? A group Rsp is the same as an Rrsp provided by individual, with an exception that the group registered retirement savings plan is offered in a group basis. So group plans requires a member to pay lower fees than they would pay on an individual basis. However, group registered retirement savings plan may offer fewer investment options. Okay. All right. We talked about eligibility, contributions, and benefit. There are no limits regarding eligibility into the group retirement savings plan. Contributions are made by both the employee and contributions are made by the employee and can be made by the employer as well. Yes, employee contributions are tax deductible for the employee. Employer contributions are taxable income to the employee. Okay, and which kind of makes sense because yes, employee contributions are tax deductible to the employee. However, the contributions made by the employer are taxable in the hands of the employee. That kind of makes sense. Contributions to both personal Rsp and group registered retirees cannot surpass an individual total Rsp annual deductions limit. Yes. Okay. You can't contribute. Both of them combined cannot be more than your contribution limit. Okay, the plan value is not locked in, so transfer options include members' personal RRSP or RIF, annuity, or cash. Okay, individual retirement savings plan. Well, we've looked at retirement savings plans provided by employer, right? Individual retirement registered savings plans are um, RRSP, which is similar to that of a group registered savings plan, just that it is an individual one. And then we also have TFSA. Okay, so this is all talking about RRSP. Rsp eligibility and contributions. Okay, well, contributions before you can contribute to the December in which the individual turns 71 is the last contributions that one can make into RRSP. Contributions can be made into RRSP during the entire year. Okay. Um, Typical 60 days after December of 31st, a final date for the contribution of the past year. Okay. Um, RSP withdrawal. Well, withdrawal can be made at any time from your RRSP. The financial institutions holding the account must hold back a portion of the withdrawal in a withholding tax, and the withholding tax does not represent the entire tax amount that will be owed on the withdrawal. Rather, it represents an advance payment. Okay. So if you withdraw up to $5,000, withholding tax outside Quebec is 10%. Quebec is 5%. From 5,000 to 50,000, outside Quebec is 20%. Quebec is 10%. All right. From 15,000 and more, 30%, and Quebec is 15%. This Quebec, maybe we should all go to Quebec. I haven't lived in Quebec before, but they seem to have their own way of doing things. Mhm. Well, talk about RRSP maturity. Upon RRSP maturity, that is at the end of the year in which the RRSP account owner turns 71, the account owner must transfer the fund into the account to continue tax deferral. And that can be done by transferring the balance in RRSP account to RIF, which is Registered Retirement Income Fund account. Okay. Then upon death of the owner, an RRSP can name a qualified beneficiary or beneficiary, including the estate. Okay. Registered Retirement Income Fund. We talked about RIF. Well, RIF withdrawal, we have a chart here that talks about the minimum percent of whatever. Well, death of the RIF owner. Well, unlike an RRSP, a RIF is oriented towards regular income payments. So the person who receives those payments is the annuitant. And when the annuitant dies, a successor annuitant of the account can receive those payments. Okay. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that. Or he can roll the RIF asset into in kind into his RRSP. and by doing this does not affect the survivor's contribution rule. To prevent a probate fees on the account value at death, a beneficiary should be named for the RIF account, and this do not apply in Quebec. Okay, tax-free savings account. Well, a tax-free savings account, we're talking about uh, individual savings plans, right? A tax-free savings account is a registered savings account that is tax-free. Every growth is tax-free, right? Um, an individual that are 18 years and above can open a TFSA account. Okay. TFSA contributions are not tax deductible, and TFSA contributions have a yearly dollar limit of 6,000. Okay. TFSA withdrawal can be made at any time and recontributed in any year following the year of the withdrawal. It is in addition to the maximum dollar amount of contribution that year. No tax is due on the withdrawal. Okay. Well, registered education savings plan is for children. Is provided financial institution, security of education. Is help parents save, you understand, for the education of the children. Our contribution can be made, until the beneficiary turns 17. Okay. And then there's government grants of 20% that's usually provided. Then we also have registered disability savings plan. This registered disability savings plan is a registered savings plan to assist parents and others save for the financial needs of their child, with severe or a long-lasting impairment in physical or mental function. Okay. Registered disability savings plan eligibility. A disabled person is eligible to be a beneficiary who is eligible for the disability tax credit, disability amount in a Canadian resident. Okay. Is if a Canadian is under 60 years of age, if 59, blah blah blah. Contributions are not tax deductible, and there is a lifetime private contribution limit of 20,000. There is an annual contribution limit as well. Okay, that one is not as popular. Registered disability savings plan. Well, only the registered disability savings plan beneficiary or his or her legal representative may receive the payment. Okay. A lifetime disability assistance payment, which is LDAP, can be made. Now, this LDAP is a sequence of payments, and once the payment beneficiary requests an LDAP, these payments are made to the beneficiary at least a yearly basis until plan termination or death. This payment must begin no later than the beneficiary's age 60. Okay, we're about to investor profile again. Well, the information collected in the profile shows the client's overall financial situation, which comes into focus when financial results are analyzed, needs are identified, and risk are determined. Results of financial reviews. The financial review shows how much has been saved, how much is available to meet the current and future needs and subject, income restrictions such as locked in account, and whether new plans and account needs to be open, the performance or current performance of the current investment and all those stuff. So result of needs review, well, the needs analysis, by reviewing the client's profile, we are able to determine or identify what is important to the investor. And we are also able to show the investor how to arrange their needs in line with their financial data. Okay. We also are able to determine the risk tolerance of our investor, right? Like I said before, we're able to tell if they are conservative investor or balanced investor, or if they are aggressive investor. Okay. When we do all this, okay, I'm coming. The whole exercise of carrying out an exercise on investor profiling, is a goal. The goal is for us as agents to be able to make, a recommendations to our clients in line with the investor's profile based on the facts and their needs and requirements, not based on assumptions. Okay. And the agents also, by doing so, we are able to also, show our ability uh, to advise our investors by working through all the elements, of the investor profile. It's every time I do investor profile for clients, I'm always happy because I'm able to expose them to a lot of things about themselves that they haven't really thought about, that they haven't really paid attention to. Okay, so we have come to the end of investor profile. The next section will be segregated funds and annuity recommendations. See, this section I won't even like whatever, because we've done annuity, we've done segregated funds, so we know which direction both of them are standing and who this will be suitable for. So yes, for those that have exam this week, please go through the material I've sent out tomorrow. I'm going to I'll take out time in the morning to complete the remaining section of the text, and then I'll upload it for you guys to review. But tomorrow evening, please, let's gather so we can solve questions together. Thank you very, very much for your time, and have a lovely night rest. Bye for now.